Just subscribe. Oh, dude, it's like it hurts so bad. Oh, that's like TRD type pain.
Notifications on. Enjoy the video.
Oh, God.
C2 Wrestling, CTD, Snowden, back, subscribe, or you're a coward. I hate you. Simple as that. The wrestling world's been buzzing, Snowden. The topic, Karrion Kross, hashtag we want Kross. Something that would be a perfect podcast topic for us, but we got to get more into doing these videos, and this is like the perfect subject for it. Let's just dive right into it, honestly.
Mhm.
Is it real? Is it not real? Are they playing us? What do we believe? What do you believe? What do you think?
Is it a work? Is it a shoot? Is it real? Is it not real? In this day and age of wrestling, you never know. You really never know. And we're right off the back of the Rollins injury, and they worked us all. And listen, when I say they worked us all, they worked us all. But if you're in tune, if you watch the content, you watch wrestling, you keep up, you can read between the lines a little bit. Saturday night's main event, Rollins gets hurt. I thought he was hurt. They got me hook, line, and sinker for a while. But when 2 or 3 weeks go by and there's no injury report, there's no time frame. If they would have just put out, oh, Rollins got 6 months, he'll be back, they would have had me probably. But when they didn't drop that type of info, you start to think like, oh, this is getting a little odd here. Karrion Kross, the top merch seller, top 3 merch seller, whatever it might have been, gets over with the crowd like only few superstars have really done in the past on his own accord. Is it a work? I'm indifferent right now. Where I'm kind of skeptical is when there's releases, which they happen all the time, there's one person to go to. There's one, reporter to go to, and it's Fightful. That's where all the correct info is coming from. And even Fightful really got duped on the Seth Rollins thing, so maybe they don't have the correct info this time around. But, we made, I think, some comments back and forth between one another when Kross got released or the contract wasn't re-signed, that it didn't seem like it came from Fightful as fact. Whenever people get cut, oh, this guy's cut, this girl's cut, and they're gone, we move on from it. I don't know. The reports came out and not that Fightful's in on it, but it seemed a little like fishy to me. They released bookings, Scarlett put her booking email up, Kross put his booking email up. They took the theme song Dead Silent off of Spotify. If this is a work, they're going hard to make it look real, because the little things like taking the song off Spotify, that's a little bit of money, right? If they have that music on there. So to take that off for the work of it all is a deep cut. Is it possible? Yeah, I mean, anything's possible, but I want to hear your opinion on it real quick. Do you think it's a work still? Do you think it's a shoot? Where do you think they're going?
My guard is up. My
Yeah,
guard's up. Like, it's the
yeah.
beauty of wrestling right now where we don't know what to believe, and that's the best way to be in. I've mentioned so many times, like, as a fan, say you really like someone, you obviously want the best for them and want them to be where they want to be. But as a fan, there's so many outlets for these wrestlers to perform in that it's not like years ago where a talent gets released and like you can't even watch their matches. You got to like hope there's a DVD that gets put out of it of them working some indie promotion. Now, almost every indie promotion is like live on YouTube or on, some streaming service or whatever. So as a fan, you'll still get to see these people. I saw Cross and Scarlett actually just put up shirts on Pro Wrestling Tees. You can support them that way. You mentioned Fightful, and I think this is similar to how some things have gone in the past with the Punk return, with the Rollins injury. They're not wrong.
Yeah.
Like, the information that they're getting is from WWE, and they're reporting that. Now, WWE could absolutely be lying. Like, that is a very good possibility considering they just did that for the sake of their storylines. Kind of like the R-Truth situation where Truth gets let go or not renewed, whatever, people go crazy. They bring him back. WWE is like, "Oh yeah, he was always coming back." And even Truth and, some journalists were like, "No, he was 100% gone," and they brought him back. Could that happen with Cross? Yes. My gut tells me, I don't know why, my gut tells me they're not gone.
Hmm.
I started thinking about the Ricochet situation where people are saying, you've even mentioned, like, but he's still on TV, still on TV. Yes, but so is Ricochet until literally his last day of his contract, then he was gone. That would be fitting of a comparison if Cross was going somewhere else.
Hmm.
We have no news of Cross going anywhere else, and we got news that they got a contract offer. Was it an extreme lowball just to say, hey, we offered him something and they turned it down? Was it an offer that they couldn't refuse, but they want to run with this? As a longtime Cross supporter, we both are. My gut tells me this is all part of a plan, but it's a much longer term plan than even say the Rollins injury. And I have a bit of a few more thoughts on it, but
Hmm.
I assume that's where you kind of lie too.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I lie. I'm not going to outright say it's a work and he shows up on Monday Night Raw ASAP. I do think maybe there's a long-term plan here. And, could it be a work in the sense that he already has re-signed his contract and they're just telling us he hasn't? Sure. Or they could have legitimately let the contract go and maybe there's a verbal agreement, an agreement elsewhere on like, this is the plan. We're going to actually let it go to make it seem more legitimate. And we'll re-sign you here. We'll do this. We'll do that. WWE does a lot of kind of cross promotion nowadays. A lot of guys are wrestling, a lot of girls are wrestling over at Bloodsport and whatnot. So them posting their emails for bookings, just part of the gig, maybe. That might just be part of this said work. Again, you said it. Big supporters of Karrion Kross. Scarlett is great too. I don't want to be that guy, but Scarlett's kind of like guilty by association here, if I'm being honest. The big talk is Karrion Kross. He's who got over. And the way I look at it, it is in a way similar to the Ricochet situation, but Ricochet was written off. Ricochet got a beat down. He clearly was going elsewhere. It was on a Monday Night Raw. It was easy to get rid of him. It made sense. And they still kind of left the door open for Ricochet at that moment. Karrion just wrestled at the second biggest PLE of the year, SummerSlam, against Sami Zayn. That spot on that card, the weeks of TV could have went elsewhere if they knew he was gone or going to be gone. It didn't have to. They still could have utilized him just like they did Ricochet. But did he really like put Sammy over? Like I don't think him losing to Sammy really does much for Sammy like it did Braun Breaker taking out Ricochet. Right? It was Braun Breaker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Um, I don't know though. It is a little odd that Karrion Kross, when he came to NXT, he's NXT champion. That was the real like killer Cross version of Karrion Kross was what we've seen in NXT. He was a Triple H guy, you would think. It's skeptical to me that this guy would organically get over, be a top merch seller. Fans are chanting for him, screaming for him. He's cutting insane promos, and they would get rid of him. If that were the case, there would have to be like a deeper cut behind the scenes that maybe hasn't released yet, maybe never will. But all the things Karrion and Scarlett have put out post the contract not being resigned has not indicated any bad blood, any beef. Yeah, maybe a low ball offer, but so what? That's not that big of a deal in comparison to what it could be. To cut a guy like that that's organically getting over, you would have to think something went horribly, horribly wrong. And I really haven't gotten an indication that it has quite yet.
I saw he even mentioned that he wants to make it clear that his like pipe bomb that he had, like
It
that
was a
was
work.
all work, it was all planned. He loves the place he works at. I kind of fall under like if he's not re-signed right now, he will be back sooner
Yeah,
rather than later.
I agree.
And there's a few aspects to it. I hope it doesn't just end up as an R-Truth situation where granted he shouldn't have been gone to begin with, but it took the large uproar to get him back. WWE signs him back, shows interest for 3 weeks, and then we barely see the guy since.
Yeah.
I hope it's not a situation like that, but I don't think it would be because he pretty much was on Raw every single week for the last 2 months, even if it was just, those segments on commercial breaks that go on, the
Interviews in the crowd.
the
Yeah.
international feed, and they pick up on social media. Something just tells me that even if he wasn't signed, there will be a strong enough push where you become undeniable and you will be back, and they'll have no choice but to realize they were in the wrong. I just it just all seems fishy. Like
Mm.
it just feels weird. And I don't know, like are you really saving that much money not having Cross, a guy who's making you money?
Yeah.
That just something it's similar to the Rollins injury that something isn't passing the sniff test. And
Yeah.
look, we may sit here 3, 4 weeks from now, 2, 3 months from now, and Cross isn't signed, and everything that happened was legit. It is very possible. Yeah. They are taking bookings. Yeah, they are, they have their merchandise for sale. But it just feels fishy, man. It just feels fishy. And that's the beauty of wrestling right now, where we're sat here making a video about it a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months ago. We're not even thinking about it. We're like, oh, wish him the best. We're big fans. We'll support him. Blah, blah, blah.
Something ain't quite right here. That's been the line of thought over the last few weeks. That's been the line of thought before the SummerSlam match. There's a lot of rumors that his contract's coming up, this, that, whatever. It just is very fishy. Karrion Kross might be gone for a while, but I do believe he comes back at some point. I don't think it's going to be forever, but I don't think it's going to be again in the next week or two. But I do want to kind of, play this out a little bit. How do you bring him back? What do you do? What do you have him jump into? Where does he go from here? It's a bit of a tough subject because the guy is over. If this is a work or whatever it may be, that return is going to be pretty damn big, you would expect. So I don't know. Him coming back and just attacking Sammy doesn't quite do it. I don't think he's going to come back and attack, say, Cody Rhodes, but I don't think that's outlandish, really. If you were to book it, how do you bring back Karrion Kross?
Well, first things first, I'm having him do indie shows.
Yes,
I'm
agreed.
having him do indie shows. And like you mentioned, Bloodsport, he's been on Bloodsport. He did Chris Bay's event where
Mm-hmm.
we literally thought he snapped both of his legs.
Yeah.
Thankfully, he was okay. I'm having him do indie shows. First things first. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm leaning as heavy as possible into you thinking this guy's gone. Like I want
Mm-hmm.
every aspect to the point where maybe it even quiets down a little bit. Like as crazy as that sounds, maybe even it gets a little there's less hashtag we want Cross because people start to accept shit, he really is gone.
Yeah.
And then I bring him back. Now, do you do it as he sneak attacks someone? Do you do it as a storyline where it's something happened and who was the person? Does he just pop up one night on Raw? I think I would do it. This might not be like the craziest thing. So some people aren't gonna like be nuts about this. I would have him go after a former champion. I would have him go after an established main eventer, but I would have him win.
Mm-hmm.
In a few months, would have him take out Damian Priest. And
Fair.
I would have a Priest Cross feud, and I would have Cross win. And I would continue Cross winning. Because the biggest thing with me with Cross, we like the stories. People say what they want about the matches, whatever. He never wins.
Yeah.
So like it's hard for me to buy into a character. I like the guy. I like him a lot. Back to the TNA days, as I mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
But he's got to win to get people to be like, he's back and he's winning. Not just he's back to put over other people. No. He's got to come back and he's got to get a win against a former world champion. Just from like the quick thought of you asking the question, Damian Priest, if you want to go crazy, have him take out Randy Orton and beat Randy Orton.
That was going to be my name, actually. It was Randy Orton. Damian Priest, I find in a very similar spot right now with Aleister Black. So, a step up from Damian Priest would be a guy like Orton. Karrion Kross comes back, feuds with a guy like Orton, gets a big win, goes on to better things. I would say if he does come back, whether it's in a week or two or 6 months, sooner rather than later from his return, you probably got to put a title on the guy. That would be the real test of it all. I go back to
The final
calling
test.
the final testament. Yeah. I go back to calling the Jey Uso run of 2024 and 2025. That IC title run, booked it clear as day. It was a test run for Jey Uso. How over can this guy get as a singles wrestler? How over can this guy get as a champion? Is he world champion material? Karrion Kross would fit in that slot of potentially sooner rather than later winning the IC title, winning the US title at a minimum, and test running the waters. Hell, he's over enough. You could put him into a world title feud. I feel he would find himself in a similar slot of like a Drew or an LA Knight where they're kind of always right there, but they haven't quite done it yet. So I think you would have to find a better way to establish him. But this one's in the air for me still. I do want to lean towards it kind of being legit because I don't want to like get my hopes up off the back of the Rollins injury that they're working everything now. Some things could just still be cut and dry. And then again, the little things, getting rid of the theme song on Spotify, they're taking the bookings. There's a lot of signs that it is legit. There's also a lot of signs that it's not. So that all it takes is one or two signs that it's not to make me go, huh, they're working us here. It would take more than that in terms of signs to make me go, oh, this is legitimate. Karrion Kross, though, Killer Kross, he might go as on the independents. We'll see. Great talent. I think he's a great talent. He should probably bump a little bit more, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually looking up real quick. I never use Spotify,
Yeah.
so this might just be a waste of time.
Hmm.
But I was wondering if Ashante the Adonis's theme
Ooh.
was taken off Spotify, which I'm wasting my time. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm gonna pretend that I didn't just do that. Because if he did, I mean, even if they didn't take it off, if they did take it off, I'm just be like, oh, well, they're just doubling down because they really want you to believe that's why. So it
Yeah.
being on there has really no impact on my thought. I'm interested in the people's thoughts though. Get down in the comments. Do you think Cross is gone? Do you think he's coming back? Do you want to see him come back? Do you want to see him attack someone, face someone? Do you want to see him in a different company? Let us know down in the comments. While you're there, subscribe. If not, you're a coward, hate you, wish nothing but the worst of you. Why are you watching at this point and you're not subscribed?
Couldn't say it better myself. C2 wrestling, baby.